What common skill set is required to build $1 million or more of wealth, whether you're on an existing career path, building a company, or buying companies? We have a question on deck today that's come up in a variety of different forms. Its scope is huge, but so many of you have expressed interest in the topic that we've got to tackle at least part of it. So here it is. What is the best way to become a millionaire, and what can I do to become rich? Now, this is a massive topic. We won't be able to cover the full scope of it in a single Q&A session, but we can at least get the party started and lay some groundwork. So let's begin with some statistical data to set the stage. The Pew Research Center conducted a survey of over 1,500 adults in the United States. They asked what separates the financially poor from the rich. Only 38% of the people that responded indicated that the rich are rich because they worked harder than others. But how do millionaires, the people that are actually wealthy, explain their financial success? Well, that's interesting because nearly 9 out of 10, 88%, rate hard work as a very important factor. But to dive right into the deep end, there are a number of ways to make your first million. Here's an encouraging statistic. 80% of millionaires in the United States are self-made. That means the majority of people are able to create their own wealth and make it happen for themselves. There are 3 specific paths to becoming a millionaire that we focus on exclusively because we found them to be the most expedient and replicable. And they are the path of the executive, the path of the entrepreneur, and the path of acquisitions and turnarounds. So let's start with the executive path. This is where you get as high up in a company as possible, take on stock options through specific steps in a specific order, and sell those options for at least 7 figures. There's the entrepreneur path. This is where you start your own company, you build it, you grow it, and you seek an exit or a liquidity event. This path typically has a 3 to 5 year time horizon before a significant liquidity event can net the founder 7 figures or more, but this is one that's very popular and we certainly favor it. The acquisition path. This is where you buy companies that are distressed, repressed, or haven't yet realized their full potential, and you turn them around. You accelerate their growth, and you sell the company or the portfolio of companies for a multiple of between 10x and 100x of your purchase price. You end up keeping a piece of the action, of course, and cashing out upon a liquidity event. Now, this can be done faster than the entrepreneur path with the right purchase and turnaround strategy, but it requires upfront capital that not everyone has or knows how to get. By the way, there's also the savings path where you literally set aside all your salary except for what's required for the bare essentials. Now, we do not cover this path because it takes an incredibly long time. I'm talking like 10 to 20 years, and it involves delayed gratification where you can't even go to the Starbucks for a coffee without getting off track from your plan. That's by far the worst way to get $1 million in the bank, but there are people out there that have done it. But when you read their stories, they lead pretty depressing lives compared to any of the other programs we talk about. Now, we could talk about each of these paths for days on end. Each one of these paths is a multi-day conversation with a hell of a lot of detail, but there are common threads that are consistent across them all. What common skill set is required to build $1 million or more of wealth, whether you're on an existing career path, building a company, or buying companies? Discipline. No matter what path you choose to build your first million, you must have discipline. This is not only a mandatory quality for building your first million, but to keeping it. And that is critically important. I know several people that have become millionaires or multimillionaires and then lost it all. If you're on the path to making it big, you cannot let that happen to you. You must ensure you have the discipline required to be a millionaire before you get your wealth, or else you're destined to lose it, and we can't let that happen. See, wealth is sensationalized for some reason. You read an article about some founder of a startup that just made several $1 million, or someone that was a big executive at a company that got bought, or someone that sold a portfolio and made millions off of it, and you think, man, they arrived. They really made it. Good for them. Now they're a millionaire. But what you don't often read about is what they went through to get there. How hard it was. The focus, discipline, drive, and long hours that were required to pull it off. And some people assume that wealth just fell in their lap one day. Nothing could be further from the truth. So back in reality, an incredible amount of discipline and hard work went into the creation of that wealth. And if you're not researching their full story from the beginning, you're probably getting sensationalized spin, not the full-blown gritty truth. Now, a lot of people think of a millionaire and they envision someone rolling around in a bed of money, buying fancy cars, huge yachts, and lighting cigars with $100 bills. But the reality is much different. Self-made millionaires are extremely disciplined when it comes to spending money. The last statistic I checked showed that about 32% of multimillionaires shop at Walmart. Now, most millionaires spend in moderation. They understand the value of a dollar and they appreciate how hard it was to reach millionaire status. Most buy a nice, comfortable house, a car they like, and some small but fun toys. The savvy ones know that hyper-consuming can crush them. And we have statistics that back this up. Here's a quote from Thomas Stanley, an author that spent an incredible amount of time studying millionaires before he passed away recently. I'd like to read it to you because it's incredibly powerful. Nearly 95% of the top 1% of wealth holders in America reported that being well disciplined was very important in explaining their success. 95% thought discipline was critical. That is staggering, folks. Getting 95% of people to agree on anything is nothing short of amazing. And this is coming straight from the people that have been there, so we need to listen to what they're telling us. But what do we mean by discipline? And what are some examples? If you're looking to walk the path of a millionaire, start building discipline around your spending. Rewire your habits around money and your relationship with it. By exercising discipline around money, you save more of it, in turn you have more of it, and you get used to having more of it. This naturally rewires your thinking around money and creates a scenario where it feels very natural for your wealth to increase each and every month. It's very different from living paycheck to paycheck. Let's dive into some really interesting statistics. If you want to understand the power of discipline around financials, I invite you to research lottery winners. Watch the people that have won the lottery and what has happened with them. Look up William Post. Here's a guy that had $2.46 in his bank account when he won over 16 million bucks. That sounds like he's set for life, right? I mean, really, how many people can't make it work with $16 million? But in less than 10 years, he was surviving on food stamps and died completely broke in 2006. There are TV shows about lottery winners where the whole premise of the show is, where are they now? You know where they are now? In a shack, scratching a broke ass, that's where. So what's the common theme here? Why does this happen? It's not a lack of money, right? I mean, these people had millions of dollars, more than we could earn in a lifetime working in our day jobs. So it's not the lack of money, it's lack of discipline. Money doesn't make you wealthy. It's your discipline around money that creates lasting wealth. I don't care how much money someone has, if they don't have financial discipline, mark my words, they will lose it all. You have to exercise discipline around your finances, whether you're dead broke or a multi-millionaire. That's a consistent theme around the majority of millionaires and even billionaires. So if you're not practicing this discipline, you need to start. Or if you're already doing it, you probably need to get better at it. So let's get practical and break it down. How do we do this? Number one, stop using credit cards. Credit cards are the best way to ensure you never build wealth. The interest rate alone will eat you alive. But beyond that, you're creating a psychological problem in your relationship with money. You're spending money you do not have. This is how people win 10 million bucks and lose it all. They spend money they don't have. So your first step is to get rid of all credit cards and live off your earnings. In fact, if you insist on a credit card, I challenge you to the discipline of paying it off every single week. That way, you'll never spend more than you have. Number two, every time you get paid, take 10% of whatever that payment is and put it away into an account where you can't withdraw it. A savings account, or a money market account, or a stock account, whatever works best. In fact, if you put it into an online credit union or a bank or a brokerage firm that doesn't have a local branch, that's actually the best way to do it. That way you aren't tempted to run down the street and withdraw money every time the going gets tough. That creates automatic savings. And it's important you deposit money into this account before you do anything else. even paying your mortgage. That's because saving money has to become your new priority. Taking this action and making it your number one spend will change your relationship with money almost instantly. You'll find yourself getting excited watching that bank account grow in value over time as you start to accumulate real savings. Number 3, create a budget. The next step is to spell out your plan of action for your money. Now, I recommend an Excel spreadsheet to do this, where you can list out all the spends you have on a monthly basis. This will include mortgage or rent payments, car note payments if you've got a car note, your cable bill, your gas bill, your electric bill, yourself, all your bills. Then, break it down to the details of how much gas money you need per month, how much you spend on food, and how much you plan to spend on outings such as movies, nights out with friends, that kind of stuff. If you don't like an Excel spreadsheet, fine. Use something else, use something that works for you, but you must write down your budget. This step forces you to take a hard look at what you're spending month over month. Each month, you're gonna go back and compare your plan against your actual spend. Number 4, be disciplined about overcoming adversity. You're gonna make your plans and life is gonna happen. A loved one will get sick, a pet will need to go to the vet, your car's gonna need repairs, you know the drill. But that's all part of the game and you need to get used to it. Don't beat yourself up or get discouraged when life throws a curveball at you. You've got to practice the discipline of being okay with problems and use your good planning and financial tracking to overcome. So you had unexpected expenses and went over by $200 one month. Find a way to make up for it next month. The important part is for you to keep moving forward and growing your account and your savings. If you take those 4 steps today and execute against them, your relationship with money will begin to change. Instead of living paycheck to paycheck, your net worth will grow with each passing day. Instead of feeling as if you never have enough money, suddenly you'll feel as if you always have a safety net. Instead of feeling that sinking pit in your stomach when your bills arrive, you'll pay them in a perfunctory manner and not even care. And just to be clear, the discipline I'm talking about isn't just about the actions you take. It's more than just picking up a few habits and practicing them. At the very core, it's your mindset. It's building an underlying congruence with wealth itself. You have to bring the image of you being wealthy into the very fabric of your being, each and every day consistently, so brightly and vividly that you simply can't imagine yourself living a life outside of extreme abundance. When you build this degree of discipline in your mindset, it's as if your very soul resonates with the idea of abundance. At that moment, the actions of a non-wealthy person simply don't appeal to you or even cross your mind. This will allow you to achieve your dreams of today and dream the dream beyond the dream for tomorrow.